2 weeks ago, I made a video praising the Minnesota Timberwolves for working their way to the #1 seed in the West. Well, right on their heels at the 2 seed, sitting at 23-9, is a team nobody thought would be there, the Oklahoma City Thunder. After beating my Boston Celtics last night, they're 8-2 in their last 10 games. So how in the world is a team that had a losing record just last year and just barely snuck into the play-in tournament now one of the best teams in the entire NBA? The Thunder are the second youngest team in the entire NBA, right behind the Spurs. SGA is 25, Giddey is 21, Lou Dort is 24, Jalen Williams is 24, and Chet Holmgren is 21. That's an average age of 24 years old. The fact that the Thunder are doing this well with really no veteran players, just really young talent, is pretty ridiculous. To highlight a few of these young dudes individually, let's start with SGA. SGA is the Thunder's 6'6" point forward who's the third leading scorer in the NBA with 31.2 points per game. He's a Himothy University alumni, and you can see that on full display here with these two ridiculous finishes at the rim. His finishing is excellent, his mid-range game is excellent, and a part of his game that I think is underrated is passing. He can get to the rim with ease, drawing multiple defenders inside and leaving his teammates wide open. And he finds them almost every single time, which is also why he's 13th on the NBA assist list with 6.3 assists per game. SGA is a budding superstar, and this postseason, I can almost guarantee you that he's going to make some serious noise and start removing the budding part out of that title. I could make a whole video just on his game. He's one of my favorite players to watch, but let's move on to his running mate, Chet Holmgren. We were all hyped to see Holmgren play last year, but never did after he suffered a season-ending injury in the preseason. And now that he's back, he's showing why he was the second overall pick. It seems like a lot of people forgot about him because he missed his entire rookie season, and now Wembanyama is getting all the rookie hype, but he's still quietly having a fantastic sophomore year in the NBA. He's 7-1 and shooting 40% from 3 while averaging 17.7 points per game. He's also averaging 2.7 blocks per game, which is the 4th best in the entire NBA. I want to highlight a specific play Holmgren had against the Nuggets. He gets the smaller defender in KCP to switch on to him, puts the ball on the floor and takes it straight to the hole with 2 dribbles and 4 Nuggets surrounding him. His scoring is not entirely from shooting. He excels at putting his head down and scoring at the rim. Now, Holmgren and SGA are clearly OKC's stars, but the rest of their supporting cast is nothing to sneeze at. Jalen Williams is averaging more points per game than Chet Holmgren at 18. Williams has no issue creating his own shot from really anywhere on the court. You can see a perfect example of that here, where he goes right at Julius Randle and hits him with a beautiful hop step. When Jay Will is in his bag, he is very difficult to stop. Out of the Thunder's 13 games in December, Jay Will dropped 20+ points in 6 of them. He's an extremely underrated power forward. Another key component to this team is their super solid 2-guard, Josh Giddey. Giddey is averaging 11.8 points per game, which is not going to blow you away, but his overall impact on the court is outstanding. He's exceptional at just making the right play, finding the open man, making the extra pass while in transition, not settling for 3-pointers. He's only averaging 2.6 3-point attempts per game and hitting them at 34.6%, which is pretty good, but it goes to show he's not afraid of attacking the basket. You can see on this possession how he's on the weak side, calls for the ball, and then just takes G.D. Jackson for a ride with an inside-out dribble, and then just bodying him out the way at the rim. Giddey doesn't just hang out on the perimeter, he's constantly in the paint, either looking to score, moving the ball, or grabbing a rebound, which he's great at. He's averaging about 6 boards a game, which is the 11th amongst all guards in the NBA. He's definitely one of the better guards in the league and another underrated player that the Thunder have on their roster. Last but certainly not least is Lou Dort. When the game gets tight, the Thunder want Lou Dort on the opponent's best player. He's a very crafty defender who's great at fighting over screens, not overplaying shooters, and finding a way to come up with loose balls. And he's averaging 11 points per game on 46.5 shooting. If you watch any of Dort's highlights, you'll see that he's just always in the right place at the right time to make a great play. And he's not afraid to yam it on you if the opportunity presents itself. Every team needs its fair share of stars if the franchise wants to be a serious title contender. If you can assemble a duo of stars, even better. The Thunder had their initial duo of Westbrook and Durant when the franchise was first formed about 15 years ago, and they were able to get the team to a finals berth after a few years of developing, continuing to be a consistent force in the West for years after that. So Thunder fans are very familiar with having a young superstar duo that helps them dominate the Western Conference. Right now, I think we're witnessing the next NBA duo with championship possibilities with SGA and Chet Holmgren. SGA is more than capable of completely taking over a game, just wearing down an opponent's defense. He is the jab. While the opponent is trying to stop the jab, that's when the uppercut comes through, and that's Chet Holmgren. Really, anybody on the Thunder is capable of scoring off of SGA's play, but Holmgren will take it to a level where it just completely overwhelms the other team. You can see that in these highlights from when the Thunder beat the Clippers a couple weeks ago. Yes, Kawhi was out, but that's still a very good team. As Zubac kept getting pulled to the rim to try and stop SGA, Chet had no problem sinking the wide open jumpers from inside or outside the arc. If a smaller man switches onto him, he has no issue shooting right over the top of them. And if a big man is going to come outside to guard him tightly, he's quick enough and long enough to beat most centers off the dribble. I'm telling you, these two are going to be a problem in the playoffs. Something that the Thunder do better than any other team is their ability to feed each other. Daignault. Daignault. Lord have mercy. That was a nice little rabbit hole. I've never actually heard his name pronounced before. We're just going to call him Coach D because I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Mark D clearly preaches ball movement. He does not want one dude dribbling the air out of the ball, hunting his own shot. So even when one player is hot, he's still looking to get his teammates involved. Usually it'll start with SGA heating up, but then not completely dominating the ball. He'll quickly get a teammate involved, and next thing you know, the opponent is hit with an offensive avalanche from at least two players. OKC is just so good at making the right play. That stems from coaching. They all feed off of each other. There is no defaulting to just ISO ball. Mark D also has them coached up to defend as a unit. They're just outside of the top 10 with a 112.7 defensive rating, so not fantastic, but still very good. This team is great at shooting the three ball. In fact, they're the best team in the NBA at shooting it with a 39.1% three-point shooting average. And they're only attempting 33.2 three-pointers a game. That's in the bottom half of the NBA. Again, they excel at finding the open man and recognizing who has the hot hand, not following the modern NBA's trend of maintaining a high three-point volume. And that's from the second youngest team in the league. In my opinion, they're the second most well-rounded team in the NBA right now, following only my Boston Celtics. There's not many statistical knocks on this team. At first glance, they're a bad rebounding team, which is because they don't grab a lot of offensive rebounds. The reason behind that is they're making a ton of shots every game, so there's not many opportunities to grab their own boards. If you just look at their defensive rebounding, they're middle of the pack. The only legit statistical knock against the Thunder is the amount of threes they allow against them. They let teams shoot 38.5 on average, which is 29th in the entire NBA. And as of right now, they hold their opponents to 35.8 three-point shooting percentage, which is great, but could bite them in the ass come playoffs. If a team heats up from three in the playoffs, you do not want to let them just keep firing away. Just something to keep in mind for the future. Another thing that I have to mention is with SGA and Holmgren. It would definitely help if they both put on a bit more weight. I mean, come on. Chet Holmgren is built like me if you added on about 2 feet of height. Right now it's fine, but when the playoffs roll around and the game inevitably slows down, how is he going to play bully ball? If they do match up against Denver at some point, Aaron Gordon and Jokic are going to get very physical with him for the entire series. But that's really it. There's no real big issues with this squad. The Thunder have got to be one of, if not the most fun team to watch right now. They all have so much energy and creativity on offense that causes them to just naturally be in their bag every single night. Yeah, we all know the true test will be the playoffs, so we'll revisit them come the springtime. But in the meantime, what do you think about OKC this season? I know I did not touch on their bench at all, so fill me in. What am I missing that's coming off the bench in OKC? But do you think OKC is actually serious, or do you think they're just going to be another really young kind of pretender team in the playoffs this season? Let us know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. You'll get new videos throughout the week. and our NBA and NFL podcast, After Further Review, which we live stream right here on the channel every single Wednesday night. Thanks for watching. I'll see you boys around. Peace. That's all it'll take is one take on my actual camera with my actual lens this week. Don't have to use my phone because I forgot my camera last week. He's a very crafty, stout defender who's great at finishing over screens. He's a very crafty defender who's great at fighting over screens. SGA is the Thunder's 6'6" point forward who is a third lead. Today is a rough one. All right, here we go.